Hi everyone, Matt Bernier, Dan Illman, taking a look back at the Grade 3 Valley View Stakes from Keeneland this past Friday afternoon, I should say, here on Weekend Wrap. It was race number 9. 3-year-old fillies are going a mile and a 16th on the turf course. They break from the gate. You're going to notice the eventual winner, Lovely Bernadette, takes up a beautiful, beautiful stalking trip in the pocket beneath Florent Geroux.
Doesn't get much better on the turf. You break from an inside post with tactical speed. You find the pace setter. You sit the pocket. It works on half-mile harness tracks. It works on the turf all the time, and Lovely Bernadette's just going to ride that rail and save that ground while up close to a fairly moderate pace.
One of the best pace riders, whether it's on the front end or coming from the rear here on anyway, as far as turf is concerned, is Julien Leparoux. He's out there on the front right now aboard I'm Betty G, and you're going to see the opening quarter 23-3, but the interesting thing is they back it down to 48 for a half mile, and she seems to be loving life on the front end, moving very sweetly.
She is certainly loving life. Watch Journey Home and Jose Ortiz, who's 3 wide and in between horses at the back of the pack. I think this is the key to the race. Jose doesn't want to be involved in that early outer flow, making that move, so he takes back and gets shuffled a little bit, and he is now giving up a lot of ground to the eventual winner. He's going to eventually find the inside on the turn. He may get out a little bit too late. Once she does, this horse is rolling. You
have Lovely Bernadette sitting just in behind there in those yellow silks. Keep an eye toward the rear of the pack and sort of the reddish orange and yellowish kind of colors. That's going to be Journey Home. She's coming from way out of the back, and I wonder if it was just more a matter of, boy, she just had way too much work to do.
I think Jose had to make that decision. As we see her getting to the outside now she's altering way to the outside, and you're right, she has too much to do, because once she gets to the far outside, she's got to deal with this horse drifting right in front of her. She comes with a determined run. Now, maybe it's sour grapes because I needed her in this race, but I think she was arguably best. While Lovely Bernadette had a perfect trip and a 3-length jump, just look at the way Journey Home is storming down the center.
Can't quite get there in time. Lovely Bernadette gets the jump and gets the victory in the Grade 3 Valley View. She pays $11.60. Journey Home, runner-up, $4.40 to place. I'm Betty G, the pace setter, runs third, $7.20 to show. $1 exact at $33.10. 50-cent try, $115.20 if you played the superfecta, including the 7-horse Fault underneath. 1957 came back, $78.80 for a 10-cent super. Lovely Bernadette, 3-year-old filly at this point, trained by James DeVito. This is a nice filly. She's gone out. She's done a lot of good things on the racetrack. Great ride from Florent Geroux. Could not have asked for anything else as far as trip was concerned. 92 Beyer speed figure.
No, and I think that's what she is, a 92 Beyer speed figure when you give her a good trip. And she is really honest, as you see by that 6 for 13 lifetime record. She does want to beat you. I just wonder, is she going to be able to step up against better fillies and be able to beat them the way she beat this field? My argument right now is no.
A shade under $400,000 in earnings. As far as Journey Home is concerned, this seems to be a bit of a trend here, where you've got just too much ground to make up at the end. You've given up that tactical advantage to some other fillies. What do you do with her here? Because it seems like she is just a confirmed one-run closer.
She's consistent. I hope we see her next year as a 4-year-old. I think there are races for her. It's now up to Graham Motion to find those races for her. Her race at Arlington Park 2 starts back, where she lost to Fault. You could make the argument that there really was no excuse, that she came with a good, strong 4-wide bid turning into the stretch. She took over the lead, and then Fault ran her down. After Fault did have the best of it from a ground-saving standpoint. But here, I don't blame Jose, because he didn't want to be caught with a 3-4 wide early move and expend a lot of energy, so he stayed at the back of the pack, and there just wasn't enough pace and there just wasn't enough time for him to get clear. She deserves one more chance. She's running out of chances for me, but I wouldn't hesitate to bet her if she finds a better spot with a better pace situation next time.
The Timeform US ratings factor in pace. So your winner, Lovely Bernadette, earned a 123. The pace setter, I'm Betty G, actually earned the second fastest number in the race with a 122. I'm not sure Julien Leparoux could have done anything else, maybe try to break it open a little bit earlier, but the problem is she just didn't finish.
We talk about it all the time, that Leparoux is a master on the front end, and he was able to back down this second quarter in a 1.16 race on firm going to 48, and it's not like they were breathing down I'm Betty G's throat. She withstood the first thrust of pace pressers that came at her. She opened up a little bit of a lead, but I think just 2 better fillies ran her down. I mean, Lovely Bernadette and Journey Home were shorter on the wagering than I'm Betty G. I'm Betty G continues to improve for Michael Maker. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a minor stakes race in her future. I just don't think she's true graded class right now.
Fault is a nice enough filly. She's gone out. She's done some good things this year. I was disappointed in the effort from Defiant Honor.
Defiant Honor's kind of that horse, though, where you never know what you're going to get with her. She ran one bad race up at Saratoga where they found she displaced, and then she came back with a big win at Saratoga, and then she just has not run well in her last 2 starts. She was up close to the pace here. I really couldn't find any excuses. Maybe it's just time for her to get a little bit of a break.
I suppose if there's anyone else in this field that I'm interested in, maybe it's Let It Ride Mom when she gets back to the synthetic. Did you see anything else in this field that's
No,
interesting?
she's a synthetic horse, Let It Ride Mom. She earned a gigantic time form U.S. figure for her last race on synth. Keep an eye on her when she gets back to Woodbine, maybe Turfway Park if that's where they want to go. And Dolce Lily and Chastise, 2 horses going out for big name barns. Chad Brown, Todd Pletcher, respectively. They really didn't do much running. These were horses that were handled very conservatively by trainers that usually tip their hands when they know they have a good one by throwing them into the deep end of the pool immediately. I think that was kind of a red flag that these 2 weren't going to show up, and they didn't.
Lovely Bernadette, she's an honest filly. She shows up, she runs a race. Sometimes it's good enough, sometimes it's not. When you get a picture-perfect ride and a picture-perfect setup like she did here in the Valley View, she can come out victorious. She earns the victory with a 92 buyer speed figure.